Hi, my name's Glenn Vickery and welcome to my YouTube channel, Kiwi Bushcraft and Survival. And I think today we're on lesson 6, I think it is. And we just spoke about distance, safe distance and whatnot in the last lesson. And today I'm going to be talking about stance. Okay. Now stance, S-T-A-N-C-E, is extremely important when it comes to self-defense. Alright. Now, if I could just ask my friend Chris to come over here for a second. This is my friend Chris, he's helping me out today. So, if we're talking about stance, okay, if Chris was standing here, how he is here with his 2 feet apart, like what I am, most of us stand like this during the daytime, okay, when we're standing there talking to people. We're just talking away, okay, we're talking, alright? Now, when you're standing like that, you can be easily pushed, okay? So, if I was to push Chris, he's going to fall back a lot easier, okay? Now if I was to grab Chris and pull him this way, he's going to fall a lot easier down that way, okay? Now sure, you can put your foot forward to try and stop yourself, or bring your feet forward to try and stop yourself, or same when you're going back, but you're sort of what we call behind the 8 ball, okay? You're sort of having to now try and regain your balance because someone's trying to take it away from you, okay? Whereas what you want to be doing is you already want to have your balance, where they try to do something, they can't take away your balance, or you're making it harder for them to take your balance, okay? So when you're in a fight or in a situation where it could turn to a fight, you don't want to be standing here like this facing each other like that, okay? You don't want to be like this. That's bad. Especially as we said, like if we're in striking range here, I don't want to be standing here talking to this guy like this. This is bad, and I see it all the time. People do it on the internet, people do it in real life situations. I've seen it so many times, it's crazy. They're standing like this, they go, come on, what? And they're talking like this, okay? So when somebody's like that, really bad, they can lose their balance really easily, okay? And also, you're not in a good fighting position, okay, to be able to fight. Yeah, you can still swing a punch and whatnot, but you're not going to have the real good power there, okay? The other thing is when you're talking like this, somebody can come from behind, okay, and take your balance, right, as well. So even though you're concentrating on your front, you've got to be aware of all your surroundings, okay? Doesn't mean someone's not going to come behind. A lot of times people will do that. When you're focusing on this person here, okay, another person's coming from behind and is going to take you out. So you don't want to be this close to somebody, okay, standing like this, okay, and concentrating purely on this person. That's why in the last lesson we had our distance between us. That way you can concentrate on this person and you can still got time to look behind you and look around, okay? Whereas if you're here, you have to purely focus on this person, because if they make a swing, you better be ready for it, all right? So balance, we don't want to stand like this. Cheers, Chris. Okay. We don't want to stand like this when we're talking to somebody and things like that. When it could be turning into a potential situation. So how do we want to stand? Okay, basically we want 1 foot forward. Doesn't matter which foot you have forward. Okay, and 1 foot back. Okay, approximately just past shoulder length. Okay, and you want to have a slight bend in the knees, okay? You don't want to be bending down too far, okay? But you want to have a slight bend in the knees where you've got that freedom of movement, okay? You've got a little bit of movement there, all right? How you stand, it doesn't really matter, as long as you've got 1 foot forward, okay, facing to almost towards your attacker, okay? Just where you feel comfortable, okay? And 1 foot back. Now, if somebody was to try and pull me now, okay, if somebody tried to pull me forward, I'm not going to let them get that close, preferably, but if somebody was to pull me forward, I can now brace on this front knee, okay? If somebody was to pull me backwards, I can brace on this rear leg here, okay? And you can sink your body weight, okay? Sink your body weight into your legs. Okay, you can sink into it. So it gives you that balance. Now, basically a stance, your stance here with the feet, give you balance. So stance, all right, equals power, okay? The stance equals balance, should I say? Stance equals balance, which equals power. All right. So, what do I mean by that? If you don't have a good stance, you could lose your balance. All right. You could lose your balance very easily, and if you lose your balance, you lose power. Okay. How can I explain that in another way? If I was like this, and let's just say I was standing here like this, and I got pulled. Right? I got a lot of power here because I got my balance. But as soon as someone pulls me and I'm falling, as I'm falling, I've lost my balance. I have got no power now. Okay? I'm not going to try and hit someone in midair while I'm falling down with my head heading towards the ground or my body heading towards the ground. I lose power. Okay? I'm not going to have the ability to hit. Okay? Or protect myself. Okay? So if you lose balance, you lose power. And that's what we're going to get into in the next lesson, but in more detail. So, you can have your right foot forward, your left leg back, okay? Or you can have your left leg forward and your right leg back. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you how you feel comfortable, which leg you feel more comfortable with in front. Okay? Myself personally, I prefer my right leg in front, okay? Because it's my most powerful leg. And sometimes, depending on what type of kicks I'm going to do, I'll have it back this way and I'll have my right leg back. Okay, it depends on the situation, depends on the style of kick or type of kick I'm going to do. And again, we'll get into that later. The other thing you need to do when you've got your stance here, okay, is your hands. Okay, obviously you've got to have your hands in front of you. All right, you can have them clenched, you can have them open. It's really dependent on what the situation is, the scenario. Okay, so, but your hands, you want to have your hands up around this area here. Okay, around this area here. If your hands are up, you can react quickly. Okay, you've got faster reaction. So if a punch is coming in, you can react. All right, if a punch is coming in, you can react. All right, somebody's coming in to grab you, you can react. The hands need to be here because the target that most people are going to go for is right here. They're going to go for your head. So you need to be able to have your hands up here. If your hands are down here, it's going to take you longer to bring them up and defend yourself from a punch or a grab or whatever. Okay? So you want your hands up here when you're in a situation where a fight's going to start. Now, do you clench your fists? You can clench your fists if you're going to go into a fist fight. Some people don't like using their fists in a fist fight. I say do what comes natural, do what you feel you want to do. Okay. Sometimes a fist fight is just the way to go, and if you do what you do. Okay, just go with it. But sometimes you don't want to be standing here like this because that's going to aggravate the situation. Okay, you're trying to minimise or prevent the fight from happening in the first place, okay? So sometimes it's best to stand here like this with your, just standing there like this, just relaxing, okay? And you're talking like this, okay? With your hands open, right? Good body language. And so when you're talking like this, it looks like, and you are, trying to prevent the situation from getting worse, okay? If the cameras are on you, okay, all the camera sees you going like this, trying to stop the fight, okay, or trying to prevent it. Just calm down, mate, just settle down. Look, I don't want to have a fight with you, okay, blah, 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 blah. All right? And your hands are open. It does not look on the cameras like you want to have a fight. If you're standing like this, okay, that don't look good on the camera, okay? It also makes this other person look at you going, you want to have a fight. This doesn't look like you want to have a fight. It looks like you're trying to calm it down. Calm down, all right? Just settle down, okay, like so, right? Now, going from here to here only takes a split second, okay? Going from here and somebody's coming in, you can attack. Go straight into a punch, okay? You can still move back and defend. You can still move back and punch at the same time, okay? But this here is a far better position to be in because if you're going to grab, your hands are really open, okay? It doesn't take much to come to a punching position. Okay, your hands can also be in the stance, okay? You can bring your hand up to here if you're talking like this, okay? So what are we doing? We're covering our throat area and our chin, and we're just sort of standing here like this. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, but remember, you're going to have that distance between you and the other person, right? How does this protect us here? It protects us. Can I borrow you for a second, Chris?
Not a problem.
Okay, so if I am talking to Chris and I don't have much space, let's say we're in a nightclub and I'm not able to make that kind of space that I talked about in the last lesson, and I am having to be up close to this guy. If I'm standing here like this, okay, I can be like this here, all right, where I've got a hand here. So he can't just strike at my throat, all right? And if he does come for my face, okay, I can block, all right? I can block the thing. Or if I want to do a preempted strike on him, I can attack, okay? I can attack him or do whatever I want to do, all right? So having this hand here is quite good, okay? The other thing that you do is if you come around here and try and go for a rear naked choke, like just bring your arm around my throat, okay? If the person tries to come around here, normally they're going to come around like that, okay? Where my hand is here, which is protecting my throat, okay? If he does slip it through, all right, then I'm in a little bit of trouble, but I'll feel it, okay? And I can lock onto him anyway, all right? So bringing the hand up to here is good, all right? Obviously, we don't want somebody to get that close to us. We need to be aware of our surroundings. But if they do, okay, at least you've got something protecting you. Or if your hands are here, you can go to do the grab, okay? If the hands are here and the person makes a move on you, your hands are where his are going to be coming, all right? He's not going to be trying to reach down and grab my knee or touch my big toe, all right? He's going to be coming for this area. So you want your hands here, not down here like this, okay? So when you're talking, just have your hands like this, all right? Talking away, all right? Not trying to antagonize or make the situation worse than what it is, okay? Obviously, we still have our distance while we're talking, okay? But you can be here like this talking, okay? Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay, I see how you feel. All right, so that's what we want to do. Cheers, bro. Right, so the next part that I wanted to cover in stance is we always want to stay in a stance throughout the fight or throughout the situation. So if you're in a fight and you're moving around, you want to be in this stance. Why? Okay, if you're gonna swing at somebody, all right. So if you're going to come forward and take a swing at somebody, let's come back a little bit. Okay, you're here and you're talking to the person and you decide that you're going to hit the person. Okay, when you're coming through, okay, you're bracing on these legs and you're swinging that hip. Okay, these hips swing when you're throwing a punch. Okay, so let's imagine the person's here and I'm going to come through and hit him. Okay, as I come through, this foot here's going to turn slightly. Okay, and this leg's coming around as well, and you're stepping through, okay, coming through, and these hips are coming through with it, and it's like whammo. So you're like winding up, okay, it's like here, all right, and you'll see when people go to make a punch, they'll wind up, okay, and they'll come through, and they'll get as maximum amount of power through on that hit as possible, okay. So when you're doing that, even if it's just a short, without stepping through, correction, we can do the other step through where we're just rear foot is coming up, bang, okay? Or we can step forward with just the one foot coming through, bang, okay? Or we can just stand here and just throw the punch, okay? But we're still using our hips, okay? Our hips here, okay, are going like this. They're turning and they're going whip, okay? And so the arm is just following through. So the hips move first, and then the arm's coming through straight after. Okay, it's almost simultaneously. Right, here, bang. All right, so you're getting that power. All right, you can come up on the rear foot as well, not a problem. Bang, and just really nailing the whole power into this arm. It's coming all from up here, all down up the back, along the arm, and out here to your energy. Bang. Alright? So, you need to have a good stance to get that power. Okay? So when you're throwing power punches, that's what we're doing. We're making sure we're in a stance the whole time. So when you're hitting a punching bag, let's say you're hitting a punching bag, you're like this. Here's the punching bag in front of you, and you're like this. Bang. Alright? So the hips are coming around, bang. Alright? Coming through, bang. Alright? So the whole body is coming around and doing the hit. Very important to maintain that stance throughout the fight. Doesn't matter whether you're like this and you're hitting in front of you, alright, or whether you're hitting out. Okay, whether you're jabbing, you still want the stance and you still want to be throwing that punch with full power. Okay, so that's extremely important, is using those hips in the stance and whipping out that power. The next thing you want to be able to do is when you're doing normally techniques as well, is we want to maintain our stance throughout a technique. So, how do we maintain our stance? If I needed to turn this way here, okay, I could turn this way here, alright? So, what am I doing here? All I'm doing is sliding this foot around, okay, from here, this foot's turning, like so, turning, and then this foot sliding around, here, okay? Why? We slide it along the ground, here, and we slide this along the ground, and the reason we're doing that is so that we're constantly attached to the ground. Okay, we're constantly attached to the ground. That way, if somebody was to grab me or try and push me as I was turning, alright, if I was turning and I got to here and somebody grabbed me, I can lock in place. Okay, I can lock there. Alright, my legs are still slightly bent. Okay, I'm putting most of my weight here, but I can lock in place and then I can do whatever, okay, and change into a stance or whatever from there. If I was like this and I was going to turn and I turn my body, lift this leg up like this to turn, okay, then I'm risking losing my balance from my stance, okay, so here's my stance, I'm turning and I'm like this and somebody pulls me or grabs me or bangs into me, I'm going to fall over, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to lose my balance. Now you don't want to lose your balance and you don't want to end up on the ground unnecessarily, alright, because when you're on the ground it's a whole different ball game. So you don't want to go out of your way and do things to end up on the ground, okay, so we always want to maintain our balance by sticking to the ground, okay, boom, okay. Now if I wanted to turn this way, I just can move this foot here, bang, alright. If I wanted to come forward, I can either move forward, okay, or I can move forward, okay, or I can move back. So I'm sliding my feet the whole time, okay, so if I'm coming forward, alright, if I'm going back, it's like a skip, okay, alright, so you're constantly keeping your feet close to the ground so you can feel the ground, alright. It's the same if you were to bang into something, your feet are really close to the ground, you've got less chance of falling over. Other things that we can do to turn, okay, from here, if I wanted to turn, let's go from here, if I wanted to face that way, all I've got to do is simply turn, okay. So here all we're doing here is this foot's turning this way, okay, and this foot here is turning that way. So we're doing it both at the same time, okay, and it's going here, alright, here, here, alright, and for the turning. Again, it doesn't matter which direction we want to go. If I want to face this way, I can turn here. If I want to still face this way, but I want to move my right leg back, I can come back to here. Okay? I can still come forward. Okay? I can still step forward if I need to. Okay? I'm just sliding my foot along the ground, just above the ground, and keeping it as close as possible to the ground. Extremely important. And you'll see, as we start getting into the physical techniques, which will be in the next lesson, that you must maintain a stance throughout a situation so that you can maintain control of your balance, and it will give you the power that you need to achieve what you're trying to do. And it'll prevent you, it will give you a better chance, not so that you don't end up on the ground. Alright, so we'll finish up there with balance, stance, and the next lesson we'll be going into is more detail on balance. So I'd like to thank you for coming along. Subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.